A very good morning. It's Penuel, the Black Pen. So on the 17th of April, I think it may be, President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa signed in the Electoral Amendment Bill. A lot of people, sadly, in South Africa don't really understand what this means. Back in 2020, the Constitutional Court found that the way that we vote is unconstitutional. That is pretty huge, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. And more than anything, I'd like to thank all the parties that have been involved in pushing for this. From 1994, the only way that you could vote for national and provincial representatives is through a political party. But that is against the Constitution. And some people, some stakeholders went and challenged the IEC and the Electoral Bill, and they took it to court all the way to the Constitutional Court, and it was confirmed that it was unconstitutional. This could potentially mean that Nelson Mandela, Thabo Mbeki, Kgalema Motlanthe, Jacob Zuma, Cyril Ramaphosa were all voted in illegally and unconstitutionally. But we're not going to discuss that for now. After the Constitutional Court ruled this in June 2020 unconstitutional, they suspended the unconstitutionality for 2 years to allow Parliament to remedy this. Parliament took long, and the Minister, I think, of Home Affairs at the time, Aaron Motsoaledi, only presented this in 2022 in Parliament. And they had to get, I think, 2 extensions because they weren't meeting deadlines. But as of, I think, the 23rd of Feb, it was finalized in Parliament, and Cyril Ramaphosa, the president, has signed it in. What this means is that independent candidates outside of political parties in next year's national and provincial elections are going to be able to run. I've sat on the panel show with Tutuzane Zuma, who has said that he's going to be running for president of the country as an independent candidate, and he's not going to be the only one. We've seen independent candidates running for local municipal elections, but we've never seen independents at national and provincial level. Had a conversation with Musi Maimani, who is the leader of BOSA, Build One South Africa. I'm hoping you guys will get to see that conversation. And one of the things he was saying is, as it stands, there are going to be 3 ballot papers in next year's elections. Normally, we're used to 2. The first one being national, the second one being provincial, and now we're going to literally have a 3rd ballot for independent candidates. It's going to be very interesting what happens in the elections next year. The ANC, sadly, and some other political parties have been opposing some of the work for electoral reform. And I'm quite saddened that the IEC, the Independent Electoral Commission, has not been pushing further for this. What's going to be sad is that to run for elections in this country seems to require a lot of money. And I'm hoping that this will open conversations around how we vote. It's going to open conversations around how people campaign. And I think more than anything, and this is one of the things Musi Maimani echoed, was some of the independent candidates need to focus on winning constituencies in smaller spaces. Running for national government, of course, is going to require a lot of resources, and provincial as well, but you can focus on your own area and run it as an independent without being aligned to a political party which has greater ambitions. You can just focus on your area, which I think is fundamentally important. I'm going to drop a link in the description to the article I read from News 24. I don't understand why News 24 called it a controversial electoral amendment bill. I don't think there's anything controversial about it. I think what is important is that our democracy is maturing. What is important is that more people are going to get to run into leadership spaces and put their hands up. And we will get to vote for people without necessarily voting for a political party, which then gets to assign its own people. And the hope is that in future, we will be able to vote for our own president in this country. Because currently we've got people that vote for political parties, and then those political parties have their own people that decide who the president will be. Cyril Ramaphosa as a president is not a president that South Africans voted for. What South Africans voted for is for the ANC to run the country. And then the ANC and its delegates decided to then vote for Cyril Ramaphosa as their president of the ANC. And by default, because they have the majority in parliament, he gets to be the president there. But it would be nice if South Africans could directly vote for the person they want to run the country, irrespective of political affiliation, irrespective of political party they may sit in. You may even find that we vote for a president who sits in the ANC, but who is not the president of the ANC. That is the maturing of democracy. That is an increase of political literacy. And I hope that everyone who's going to be watching this video, everyone who's going to read the article is going to share it. And it's going to open conversations amongst your friends, amongst your family members, and we can engage on social media and other platforms on what impact this has on us as voters, what impact this has in governing the country, and how we can add our voices in ensuring that democracy is more transparent and is more representative of our interests as South Africans in building a better nation for ourselves and for the future. Pin you all the black pen. Have a great and blessed day.